Can you hear that? A knock in the dead of night, when a world is lost in sleep. This isn't the call of a stranger or a thief come to steal, but it's me bringing an abundance, a blessing beyond your wildest dreams. I'm standing outside in the darkness of your heart, waiting for you to open up. But you hesitate. You're afraid that if you open the door, you'll lose something you're clinging to. You worry the abundance I offer will be different from what you expect. But hear me when I knock. It's not to take away, but to fill. Not to deprive, but to bestow. Not to empty you, but to overflow you with my abundance. My abundance isn't what the world thinks it is. It's not measured in silver and gold, not gauged by overflowing barns, not weighed by power or fame. Those things, if you're not careful, can become chains, a weight on your shoulders. But my abundance is a full life, an unshakable peace, a joy that no one can steal, a love that surpasses all understanding. It's protection when the storm hits, a spring of water from rock in the desert, bread from heaven when you think you're about to collapse. My abundance isn't an empty illusion, but the reality of my kingdom, a reality you can step into if you open the door of your heart. But how many times have you refused? You've heard me calling, but you pretended not to hear. You felt the urging in your heart, but you turned away. You've seen the signs I've shown, but you interpreted them your own way. Why is that? Because your heart doesn't truly believe that I'm the only one who can satisfy all your desires. You still chase after your own fragile dreams, still seek abundance in the world, in the hands that can't hold on to it, where the treasures will be lost. But look back. Have those things ever really fulfilled you? Or have they just left a growing emptiness, a deeper longing? I don't knock to persuade you with words, but with the truth itself. If you let me in, you'll never thirst or hunger again. If you embrace my abundance, you'll see that everything you've been pursuing is just darkness before the dazzling light. But the door can't open if you're still gripping the doorknob from the inside. I won't break the door down to force my way in, because I want you to open it of your own free will. Do you dare? Do you dare to believe that the abundance I give is greater than anything you can find on your own? Do you dare to let go of what you're holding on to receive what I promise? Open up, and you will see. Don't let fear imprison you for another second. My abundance is knocking at your door. I see you wrestling with your own thoughts, wavering between holding on to what you have and opening your heart to something new. You hesitate, afraid that if you let go, you'll lose everything. But don't you know, what you're holding on to today, as solid as it may seem, is just a tiny fraction of what I want to give you. I don't come to take away, but to fill. I don't come to impoverish you, but to let you live in an abundance that never runs dry. To receive it, though, you need to change the way you see things. The abundance I give isn't something you can clutch in your hands or hoard in a vault. It's not limited by possessions, money, or anything else the world defines as wealth. You won't feel lack even when your hands aren't holding a lot, because that abundance isn't in quantity, but in its very nature. It's a source of life, a strength, a joy, a peace that nothing can steal. But I see you still chasing after fleeting things. You seek security in what you can see, what you can count, what you can measure. You think that when you have enough money, enough possessions, enough stability, you'll feel secure. But you don't realize that security doesn't come from external things, but from within. If your soul is empty, if your heart is always anxious, no matter how much you have, you'll never feel like it's enough. I've seen many people who have it all, but live in fear because they don't know what tomorrow will bring, don't know if what they have today will still be there tomorrow. But if you put your trust in me, if you step into my abundance, you won't be afraid anymore, because I am the one who never changes, the source that never runs dry, the one who holds you in my arms. Have you ever felt like life is just an endless series of worries? You wake up every day with heavy thoughts, burdens that no one can understand. You work, you strive, you fight, but in the end, you still feel empty. That's because you're seeking abundance your own way, while I'm ready to give you true abundance. But that abundance doesn't come from your efforts. doesn't come from what you've accumulated, but from the relationship between you and me. When you're in me, you won't feel empty anymore because you've been filled. When you walk with me, you won't feel lost anymore because you've found your path. I want you to know that my abundance isn't just for you alone, but also so that you can become a conduit for others. When you receive what I give, you don't keep it to yourself, but you let it flow through you to those around you. When you live in my abundance, you won't look at others with envy or comparison, but you'll look at them with compassion, with an open heart. You won't live in a mindset of fear of loss, but you'll live with freedom because you know that everything you need is already in me. But to step into that abundance, you need to change how you think, how you feel, how you see yourself and the world around you. You're no longer someone who lives in lack, in insecurity, in fear of tomorrow. You're someone who's been called to live in fullness, in freedom, in complete joy. Don't let small worries pull you away from the abundance I've prepared for you. Don't let the voices of the world make you forget that you belong to me, and in me, you'll never lack anything. Open the door. Let me in. Let my abundance overflow your home, because I'm ready to fill you, and I won't stop knocking until you receive it. Don't you know when I knock on your door, it's not because I need a place to stay, but because I want to fill the empty space in your heart. I don't come seeking a welcome, but to give you something you've never dared to dream of. I bring an abundance beyond measure, a stream that never runs dry, a treasure that no one can steal. But is the door of your heart open to receive it? You've become accustomed to your limitations. You've become accustomed to only daring to hope for things within reach, only daring to believe in what your eyes can see. You're bound by the world's definitions, by fears that have sunk deep into your mind. You're afraid that if you believe in abundance, you'll be disappointed. You're afraid that if you open your heart to receive, you'll be hurt. You're afraid that if you step out in faith, you'll fall into an abyss. But I say to you, step out, because when you step out in me, you'll never be abandoned. When you open your heart, the abundance I give isn't like what this world offers. The world teaches you that abundance means accumulating, holding tight, fearing loss. But I teach you that abundance is freedom. It's giving away. It's trusting that you'll always be provided for. When you hold tightly to what you have, you're limiting yourself. But when you're willing to open your hand, you'll see that you've never truly lacked anything, because my provision doesn't come from this world. It's not affected by the changing times, not limited by your abilities, not bound by the laws you know. It's a spring that never dries up, a door that's always open, a table that's always ready. But to step into that abundance, you need to learn to see things my way. Don't look at what you lack, but look at the one who's providing for you. Don't look at the doors that have closed, but look at the door I'm opening. Don't be afraid that you won't be enough, but believe that I am enough for you in everything. I'm not saying that you won't face challenges. I'm not promising that you'll never face hard times. But I promise that in every circumstance, you'll always have enough strength to overcome, enough peace not to be shaken, enough wisdom to know what to do, enough blessings to not only fill you, but to be a source for those around you. I see that you're tired. I see you trying your best to control everything in your life. You think that if you're diligent enough, persistent enough, wise enough, you'll be able to hold everything in your hands. But my child, there are things beyond your control. There are doors that only I can open. There are blessings that only I can give. And there are burdens you weren't created to carry. When you keep striving in your own strength, you'll become exhausted. But when you let me lead you, you'll find gentleness, peace, true freedom. You don't have to worry about tomorrow because tomorrow is in my hands. You don't have to fear what you don't have because I'm ready to give you more than you can imagine. You don't need to compare yourself to others because I have a plan just for you, a path just for you, an abundance that only you can step into. But you need to trust. You need to let me do my work. You need to learn to receive without doubting, to open your heart without fear, to trust without hesitating. My abundance isn't just about possessions. It's about every aspect of your life. When you know that you don't have to find the answers yourself, but that I am the source of truth. It's an abundance in peace, when you can stand firm even in the midst of storms. But you have to be willing to receive. You have to be willing to let go of what you think is enough to receive what is truly abundant. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone to see that I have so much more for you. You have to be willing to let me change the way you think, the way you feel, the way you see your life. Because I don't want you to live an ordinary life. I don't want you to just exist, just barely getting by. I want you to live in fullness, in joy, in true freedom. Let me in. Let my abundance touch every corner of your heart. Let me do what I've always wanted to do. Give you a life without lack, a life not bound by fear, a life overflowing with fullness from me. Because I'm ready, and I'm knocking at your door. Do you think that my abundance only comes when everything in your life is perfect? Do you think that only when you're successful? Only when you feel strong? Only when you're standing on top of the world can I bless you? No, child. I don't wait for the perfect moments in your life to pour out my abundance. It's in the days when you feel weak. It's in the moments when you think you've lost everything. It's in the challenges that seem impossible to overcome that I prepare for you a generous giving that you've never imagined. Have you ever noticed that a seed has to be buried in dark earth before it can sprout? Have you ever realized that the vine must be pruned so that it can bear better fruit? Likewise, there are times when I allow you to walk through dry seasons, not to take away from you, but to teach you how to rely on my provision instead of depending on what this world offers. When I knock on your door with my abundance, you may not recognize it right away because it doesn't always come in the form you expect. Sometimes I give you abundance by removing the things that are holding you back. Sometimes I fill you by letting you experience emptiness so that you understand that what you truly need is not in what you're holding on to, but in me. Have you ever wondered why some things you long for don't come at the time you want them to? Have you ever felt as if you've asked, you've sought, you've knocked, but still haven't seen an answer? Don't think that I'm ignoring your desires. Don't think that I've forgotten the tears you've shed. But I am the one who sees from beginning to end. I know what time is the best time to give to you. Sometimes I just postpone, not because I'm holding back, but because I want you to be ready. Sometimes I don't immediately fill you because I'm expanding your vessel so that it can hold more. Are you ready to receive? My abundance is not only to fill you, but also to become a conduit for others. Have you ever thought that my giving stops at you? No. You're called to be a part of a larger plan. When you receive, learn to give away. When you're blessed, learn to be a blessing to others. Don't hold tightly to what you have, as if you'll lose it, because my abundance has no limits. Let my love flow through you to those around you. Let my peace spread from you to those who are confused and afraid. Let you become the light, become the hope, become the one who brings abundance to this world. But you can't give away what you haven't received. If your heart is still closed, if you still doubt, if you still hold on to your fears, you won't be able to fully receive what I want to give you. That's why I tell you to let go. Give up the limits you set for yourself. Open your heart so that I can fill you with things you've never known. Let me break down the walls you've built out of fear. You don't have to prop everything up yourself. You don't have to try to control everything because I am the one who holds you. I am the one who provides for you. I am the one who completes what you lack. Imagine a river. When the water flows strongly, the obstacles in its path are swept away, the sediment is washed away, and the water continues to flow. But if you build dams in your soul, if you try to hold onto the old things that I'm trying to remove, if you don't let my stream flow through you, you won't be able to experience the fullness that I want to give you. Let me do my work in you. Let me break down the barriers in your heart. Let me clear away the old things so that I can put into things that are newer, better, beyond what you can imagine. My abundance is not simply material wealth or outward success. It's an abundance that helps you stand firm in stormy days, helps you laugh when the world only sees reasons to cry. Don't think that you have to be good enough, strong enough, talented enough to be worthy, because I don't give based on what you do, but based on my love for you. I see you even when you haven't seen yourself. I love you even when you haven't learned to love yourself. I knock on your door not because you're ready, but because I want you to step into a new journey, a journey of fullness, a journey of transformation, a journey in which you no longer have to live with the mindset of a needy person, but as a child who has been generously given to. So will you open the door for me? Will you let me come in and fulfill what I have destined for you? Will you let my abundance become a part of your life, not just for a moment, but forever after? Because I'm ready and I'm standing at the door. Do you realize that right now I am standing before your door? I do not knock once and then leave. I'm not tired, not discouraged, not waiting in vain. I am still there, still persistent, still patient. The flow of abundance from me never runs out, never dries up. But if you do not open the door, you will not be able to experience it. The walls you have built, the doubt, the fear, the self-doubt, the hurts from the past, they have caused you to live like a person imprisoned in their own home. You have become so used to the darkness that the light has become foreign. You have become so used to the lack that my abundance makes you skeptical. You have become so used to relying on your own strength that you are afraid that if you let go, you will lose everything. But I say to you, do not be afraid. For when you let go of what you're trying to hold on to, it is then that you will receive something beyond what you can imagine. There are doors that cannot be opened by human power. There are yokes that cannot be broken by human effort. There are walls that cannot be torn down by your weak hands. But I'm not asking you to tear them down yourself. I'm only asking you to open your heart to me, to let me do what you cannot. You do not have to find a way to create abundance for yourself. You do not have to worry about how to get what you lack. I am the endless source. I am the treasure that never runs out. What you need is not in this world, but in me. Do you know why there are some people who feel empty even though they own everything? Because they do not really have me. They chase after material things, power, fame, but their hearts are still not satisfied. They think they are looking for success, but in reality, they are looking for meaning. They think they are pursuing security, but in reality, they're looking for a foundation that is stronger than this world can provide. You are not created to live with emptiness. You are not born to forever crave without ever being filled. My abundance is not just about having more, but about having enough and having peace when you have enough. It is when you know that even in difficult times you are protected. It is when you understand that even when you do not see the way ahead, I am still leading you. It is when you no longer live in fear of tomorrow because you know that I have been there before you. When you enter my abundance, you will no longer be bound by the things that this world tries to impose on you. You will no longer live in anxiety because you know that I am the provider. You will no longer be weighed down by the burden of lack because you know that I am the one who fills you. But you must choose. You can continue to live as someone who is needy, always afraid that you will lose what you have, always doubting whether there will be enough for you. Or you can step into my abundance, where you do not have to hold on to everything with your own strength, where you can live with a free mindset, where you can give away without fearing scarcity because you know that I always provide. Have you ever seen a person clenching sand in their hand? The tighter they squeeze, the more sand slips away. But when the hand opens, the sand remains still in the palm without being lost. Likewise, if you live in fear and cling to what you have, you will always feel a lack. But when you learn to let go, learn to trust, learn to open your hands to receive, that is when you're truly filled. Are you tired of having to carry everything yourself? Are you exhausted from always having to find ways to manage, always having to worry about the future, always having to live in the stress of a person who does not know what tomorrow will bring? Do you feel as if you are running in a circle with no way out, always trying but never feeling enough? Stop. Relax. Let me in. For I did not create you to live in lack, in anxiety, and insecurity. I created you to live in my abundance, where you do not have to do everything yourself, but have me with you, providing for you, leading you, and blessing you. So are you ready to open the door? Are you ready for me to come in and completely change your life? Are you ready to abandon the mentality of a needy person and embrace the attitude of a person who has been given to? For I am ready. I have prepared everything for you. I have filled the table. I have opened the door to the treasure. I have prepared the way. All you need to do is step in. Do not hesitate any longer. Do not waver any longer. Do not let fear keep you from the good things that I have reserved for you. I stand before your door not to blame, not to judge, not to take away, but to give you an abundance that you have never known. Open the door, and you will see that every lack in your heart will disappear. Open the door, and you will realize that I have never been far from you. I have never forgotten you. I have never abandoned you. Open the door, and you will step into a new life. A life that is no longer bound by what you have or do not have, but a life filled in my giving. For I am the God of abundance, and I am knocking at your door. Do you know what is holding you back? What is making you hesitate before the door that I've been waiting at for so long? Is it the fear that if you let me in, you'll have to give up the things you are still familiar with? Is it the doubt that the abundance I promised to give is real? Or is it that your mind is too tired from the times of expecting and not seeing anything change? The times of asking, but it seemed like your prayers vanished in a thin air? I see all those things. I see your heart hesitating between faith and skepticism, between longing and fear, between hope and disappointment. But my child, you have forgotten that I am not like human beings. I am not a promiser who does not fulfill. I am not someone who comes to knock and then turns away when I see that you are not ready. I am still standing there, and I am not giving up because my love for you does not depend on the times that you hesitate. But I want you to understand that my abundance is not only material wealth or things that the eyes see and the ears hear. It is not only prosperity in a way that the world defines it. It is not only the possessions that you can touch or store in a vault. If you're only seeking abundance in those things, you will never feel enough because this world changes, wealth can be lost. The things you hold on to can pass. But the abundance that I give you is an abundance that surpasses all of those things. Have you ever seen a spring flow? It never stops. It always gushes, always continues, always fills itself. You can take water from that spring, but it never runs out. That is the picture of abundance that I want you to understand. When you live in my abundance, you're no longer afraid of lack. You're no longer afraid that if you give, you will not have enough. You're no longer afraid that if you open your heart, you'll be hurt. You are no longer afraid that if you put all of your faith in me, you'll be disappointed. For I am the spring that never runs dry. I am the treasure that never wears out. There are people who hold on to a lot of wealth but still feel empty. There are people who have everything but are still lonely. There are people who lack nothing materially, but their souls are like a barren desert. That is because they have not entered true abundance. They look for it in the things outside, but real life is inside. You cannot fill a needy soul with the things of this world, but I can fill it with myself. So why are you still hesitating? Why are you still wavering? Why are you still looking at the difficulties, looking at the fears, looking at the things you do not have, instead of looking at me? I am here. I am standing before your door, and I am not coming to take away any of your things. I am coming to give. I am coming to fill. I am coming to change your life in a way that you have never imagined. But you must step out. You must open the door. You must dare to believe that there is an abundant life waiting for you ahead, and I am the path leading you to that. You do not need to be afraid anymore. You do not need to doubt anymore. You do not need to hold on to the things you think are safe, but are really binding you. For I am coming to set you free. I am coming to open your eyes. I am coming to fill you with life, with peace, with joy, with hope, with every good thing that I have prepared for you. Let me come in, and you will see that every lack in your heart will disappear. You will see that the things you were worried about no longer have power over you. You will see that you have always been loved, always been cared for, always been covered in my abundance. Open the door because I am knocking at your door and my abundance is waiting for you to come in. Have you ever wondered why your heart is still not satisfied? Even though you have tried your best to have the things you desire? Have you ever felt empty, even when you have in your hands the things that you previously thought would make you happy? That is because you have not yet stepped into the true abundance that I have for you. You're still looking for the things that can be lost, instead of letting me fill you with life that never runs out. My abundance is not only material sufficiency, but also fulfillment in the soul, peace in the spirit, steadiness in the midst of storms. A person can possess the whole world, but still feel lonely, still feel afraid, still feel lost. But a person who steps into my abundance will no longer feel lacking, no matter what their circumstances, because they no longer put their hope in the things that can disappear, but put their hope in me, the only one who never changes. Look back at the things you have been chasing after all this time. Have you spent too much time looking for the approval of other people? Have you exhausted yourself from trying to control everything your own way? Have you let the fear of the future keep you from enjoying the present? If so, you are limiting yourself. You are letting small things bind you, while I want to give you something greater. You are not created to live in lack, anxiety, or insecurity. You are created to walk in my abundance. But you must understand that my abundance cannot be forced or seized. It is not a commodity that you can buy with your own labor. It is not a reward that you have to win yourself. It is a gift, and you can only receive it when you are ready to open your heart, when you stop relying on yourself, when you stop trying to walk your own path without me. When you accept that you cannot fill yourself, but I can. My abundance is like the heavy rain that cools a dry surface. It is not only fills you, but runs you for touch the people around you too. When you step into my abundance, you will not only receive, but you will become a source for other people. I do not give you only so that you hold it for yourself. I give you so that you can give. I fill you so that you can fill other people. And when you know how to live that way, you will never feel lacking. But if you keep holding on to the fear, if you keep doubting my love, if you hesitate to step in, you'll forever be standing outside the door I'm knocking on. I won't force you to open it. I won't push my way in. I'll just be there patiently waiting for you to realize that you need me more than anything else. Waiting for you to understand that the things you're clinging to can't actually save you, can't fulfill you, can't give you real life. So don't hesitate any longer. Don't let worries hold you back. Don't let old ways of thinking bind you. Don't let memories of past failures make you lose faith in the future. I'm here with an abundance that never runs out. You just need to step out. Just need to open your heart. Just need to trust me. And when you do, you'll see that everything you've ever hoped for, everything you've ever longed for, has actually been right in front of you the whole time. You just never dare to receive it. Step into my abundance, and you'll never be lacking again. Do you know why so many people still live in scarcity, even though I've opened the doors to my treasure house right in front of them? Because they don't believe I'm truly abundant. They're afraid that if they rely on me, they'll be abandoned. They're afraid that if they let go of what they're holding on to, they'll end up with nothing. They worry that if they open their hearts to me, they'll lose themselves. And because of those fears, they lock themselves into limitation, into poverty of spirit, into the insecurity of life that they don't need to endure. I see that you have some of those same hesitations. I know you're used to living your own way. You're used to relying on your own strength. Used to calculating everything according to your own logic, used to searching for solutions in this world instead of coming to me. But have you ever asked yourself if those ways have truly brought you fulfillment? Or are they just endless cycles that make you more and more tired as you run, more and more stuck as you try, more and more empty as you accumulate? My abundance isn't just about possessions. It's not just about the things you can hold in your hands. My abundance is a river that flows endlessly. It's the peace that no storm can shake. It's the joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. It's the wisdom that surpasses all human reason. It's the protection that no one can destroy. It's the life that transcends all limits. If you step into my abundance, you'll never feel confused about the future again, because you'll know that I'm holding everything. You'll no longer worry about tomorrow, because you'll understand that I've already prepared everything for you. But you have to be willing to change the way you think. You have to let go of the old patterns, the old limitations, the old frameworks that you've been familiar with for so long. If you keep thinking that only what you see and hear is real, you'll never touch my abundance. If you keep fearing that you'll lose something, you'll never receive fullness. If you keep holding on to the small things you have without daring to open your hands, how can you receive the great things I want to give you? I'm not calling you to live an ordinary life. I didn't create you just so you could work to make a living, worry, and repeat that endless cycle. I created you to be free, to enjoy, to live life to the fullest, to experience my abundance, not just for yourself, but so you can become a source of blessing for others. When you live in my abundance, you're not just receiving. You become a channel for blessings to flow through. When you let me fill you up, you'll no longer feel empty, no longer feel lacking, no longer feel alone. You'll realize that I am everything you need. But I can't force you to step in. I can stand in front of your door and knock, but you have to be the one to open it. I can place all good things before you, but you have to be the one to reach out and receive them. I can show you the path of abundance, but you have to be the one to walk it. So don't hesitate any longer. Don't be afraid any longer. Don't let doubts hold you back. Don't let old memories bind you. Don't let past hurts make you afraid of the future. Let me lead you into a life that's no longer bound by worries, no longer bound by things that perish, no longer limited by the restrictions you've placed on yourself. I'm calling you. My abundance is ready. The door is open. What will you do? Have you ever wondered why so many people keep struggling with the burdens of life? Even though I've opened my arms to give them everything they need, they don't realize that I've come not only to redeem their souls, but to transform their whole lives. They don't know that my abundance isn't some distant prospect, not a reward reserved only for special people. It's already prepared right here, right now, just waiting for them to step into it. But listen, to step into that abundance, you have to change the way you see yourself. If you still think you're just a small person, unworthy, not good enough, not capable enough, you'll forever live within the limits you've created for yourself. I don't see you the way the world sees you. I don't see you according to the mistakes you've made, the failures you've experienced, or the things you consider impossible. I see you through the eyes of the Creator. I see the potential, the strength, the light that I placed inside you from the moment you were in your mother's womb. I know you can do more than you think, because I've placed within you abilities that even you haven't fully discovered yet. But you have to dare to step out of your comfort zone. You have to dare to let go of the old ways of thinking that have held you back for so long. You have to dare to believe that I'm not some distant being just watching you struggle with life, but that I'm the one who walks alongside you, guides you, opens the way for you. Don't be afraid that if you trust me, you'll lose something. On the contrary, you'll receive more than you ever had. If you dare to let go of worry, you'll receive peace. If you dare to let go of doubt, you'll receive unwavering faith. If you dare to let go of your own limitations, you'll step into a wider world where things you never imagined possible will become reality. I've seen many people struggling because they keep clinging to the small things, not knowing that I have something greater for them. They're afraid of losing what they have, but they don't realize that what I want to give them is many times greater. They're afraid that if they believe in my abundance, they'll be disappointed. But I've never disappointed anyone. I am faithful, and my word never fails. When I promise that I'll fill you up, it means you'll no longer feel lacking, not just in material things, but also in your soul, in your spirit, in every area of your life. You weren't born just to exist. You were born to reign, to grow, to glorify me through your own life. Don't think that abundance is something foreign to you. Don't think that I only give it to certain people. No, I give it to everyone who is willing to receive it. I want you to live a full life, not a life spent struggling in scarcity. But are you ready to receive it? Do you dare to let go of your old way of thinking? Do you dare to walk with me without letting fear hold you back? My abundance isn't a passing shower. It's a spring that never runs dry. When you step into it, you won't just be satisfied for yourself. You'll also be able to give to others. You'll become a source of blessing, a light, a living proof that I am the one who gives abundantly. But it all starts with your decision. Are you willing to open your heart to receive what I've prepared for you? Have you noticed that everything I create holds within it a fullness? Look at rivers. They don't just flow to keep to themselves, but to water fields, fill reservoirs, and nurture countless lives along their course. Look at forests. They don't just grow to take up space, but produce countless fruits, offer shade, and purify the air. Everything I create doesn't carry scarcity. It carries abundance, because I am the abundant one, and I have placed that abundance in everything that belongs to me. So why do you accept a life of limitation? Why do you think you can't have more than what you have? I didn't create you to just live a life full of worry, only thinking about what you don't have, only struggling to survive from day to day. I created you to express my glory, and my glory is never limited by scarcity. If you keep thinking that you only deserve small things, you're locking the door to your own blessings. But if you dare to open your heart, if you dare to believe that I have prepared a path of abundance for you, you will see your life change. My abundance isn't only in material things. It's also in things that the eye cannot see. I want to give you a clear mind, a peaceful heart, a resilient spirit that won't be shaken by adversity. If you only ask for enough food for today, you haven't stepped into true abundance. I don't just want you to have enough. I want you to have more than enough, so you can become someone who gives, someone who can bring blessings to those around you. I want you to become someone that when others look at them, they see the difference, see the light, see the joy and strength that is overflowing from you, because that is the mark of someone who walks in my abundance. But you need to understand this. My abundance doesn't look like what the world defines it as. It's not a temporary richness. It's not fleeting things that make the heart restless. My abundance is a continuous, never drying flow that never makes you feel empty. There are people who think they have everything, but they feel a loss inside. Conversely, there are people who seem to not have a lot, but their souls are filled with peace and joy because they know that they are living in true abundance. I want you to step into that flow, where every lack disappears, where you're not controlled by fear anymore, where you can walk with freedom, strength, and trust. I don't want you to live in the limits the world has set for you. Don't think that you can't grow further. Don't think you can't achieve great things. If you belong to me, you are connected to the never-ending fountain of blessings. Stop for a moment and look at yourself. Are you living as someone who knows they belong to the abundant one? Or are you still bound by the limits of fear, of old thoughts? I don't force the abundance on you, but I am calling you to step into the door that has been opened, the water that is flowing, the blessings that have been prepared. The only question is if you are willing to take it. Do you dare to set down your burdens and grasp what I have prepared? Do you dare to believe that your life can change right now when you accept this truth? If you dare to step out, I will lead you, I will fill you. I will make you a person who brings joy, not only for themselves, but also for those around you, because that is my plan for you. Have you ever wondered why I long to give you abundance? It's not simply so you can have more, but so you'll know you belong to a kingdom that never runs dry. In this world, people are always afraid of loss, always worried about tomorrow. But I want you to know that my kingdom is not limited by those things. Someone who lives in true abundance is no longer controlled by fear. They don't desperately chase after wealth, nor do they let their hearts be bound by temporary material things. They know they have everything because they have me, and I am the source of unending supply. But to step into that abundance, you must learn to change your perspective. If you only look at the difficulties, you will never see the door I have opened. If you only look at what you lack, you will never realize what I am giving you. Abundance doesn't begin with what you have in hand, but with your attitude toward me. When you believe that I am the provider, you will no longer see yourself as lacking. When you believe that I am the one who opens the way, you will no longer be afraid of being stuck in deadlock. Often think about fields in bloom, gardens full of fruit, and streams flowing swiftly. None of them keep it to themselves. They continue to propagate, continue to spread. True abundance is not about keeping it to yourself, but about being able to become a source of blessing. If you only want enough for yourself, you haven't stepped into my full intention. But if you're willing to let me fill you until you can give to others, that is when you truly live in abundance. There are people who always think they have to compete and accumulate themselves so that they are not lacking, but they do not realize that when you walk in my guidance, you don't need to live with fear. Someone who understands my abundance will no longer feel insecure when they have to give. They know that the more they give, the more they receive. They know that the more they open their hearts, the more I fill them. The more they sow with faith, the more they will reap. But there are also people who only look at their circumstances and do not dare to step out. They look at the limits before them and think that is all they can have. But I ask you, do you think that I am limited by your circumstances? Do you think that I can only give to you according to what your eyes see? No, I'm the one above all limits. I can do what no one thinks is possible. I can open doors that you have never seen. But what I want is that you must be willing to walk in faith. If you cling to the old way of thinking, you cannot embrace the new things that I want to give you. If you let your heart be bound by hurts, worries, and small thoughts, you cannot step into my great plan. I'm not calling you so you live an ordinary life, but so you can become a sign for the world to see that I am the abundant one. When you step into my perfection, you will not only have enough for yourself, but you will also become a person that brings that abundance to the people around you, because that is my plan for you. Have you noticed that my abundance is not only limited to material things, but that it also spreads to every aspect of your life? It's not just the wealth you can see, but also the abundance of your soul, in peace, in grace, in love, and in wisdom. Many people think that being rich means having a lot of money. But if their hearts are still empty, if their minds are filled with fear, if their hearts are still barren, then they are still poor. True abundance is not how much you possess, but how much you have from me. You can have all the gold and silver in the world, but if you don't have my peace, you will always be insecure. You can have every relationship, but if you don't have true love that comes from me, you will still feel alone. You can possess all the knowledge of man, but if you don't have the wisdom from me, you will never find the right path. The abundance I want to give you not only enriches your wallet, but also enriches your soul. It not only makes your external life prosperous, but also fulfills your inner life. Look at the people who are always chasing wealth but are never satisfied. They're always worried, always competing, always feeling like they don't have enough. No matter how much they have, they're still afraid of losing it. It's not true abundance. It's just slavery to material things. But when you step into my abundance, you are no longer controlled by those fears. You know that you have a source of supply that never runs dry. You know that even in adversity, you will not lack because I am the one who always provides. Let me expand your heart so that you will no longer hold it for yourself, but give it away freely. Someone who walks in true abundance is someone who is not afraid to give, because they know that when they give, I will fill them again. When they open their hands, I will provide again. When they sow in faith, they will reap a bountiful harvest. If you keep a tight grip on what you have, you will only keep a small portion, but if you are willing to put it down, willing to share, willing to walk in trust with me, you will experience an abundance that you have never imagined. I want you to understand that my abundance is not limited by your circumstances. You may think you are living in poverty. You may look around and see that you don't have much, but if you only rely on your eyes, you will not see what I am preparing for you. Remember that abundance does not begin with what you have in hand, but begins with your attitude toward me. When you learn to trust, when you learn to be grateful, when you learn to open your heart, when you let me guide you to a new path, that is when the door of abundance truly opens. There are people who live in fear. They don't dare to step out because they are afraid of losing. But remember that I am not calling you so that you shrink in anxiety, but so that you walk in freedom. Someone who steps into true abundance is someone who is no longer bound by small calculations, by invisible fears, by narrow thoughts. They dare to dream big, dare to reach for what no one thinks is possible, dare to live a life that breaks out of the limits. Ask yourself, are you living in the abundance that I have set aside for you? Or are you still trapped in your own limits, in negative thoughts, in unnecessary worries? If you truly want to step into my abundance, you must be willing to let me change you from within. Let me put in you an open heart, a trusting heart, a spirit that is ready to walk in faith. When you are ready, I will open doors that you have never seen. I will fill you in a way that you have never imagined. And you will not only have enough for yourself, but you will become a channel of blessing. someone who brings that abundance to the world. Do you realize that my abundance is not just a trickle that drips down, but a never-ending flow? When I give to you, I don't just give a little to make you just enough. I want to overflow you. I want to make you not just receive, but become a source of overflow. But if your mind is limited by fears, if you keep looking at what you lack instead of what I'm doing, you cannot receive that abundance completely. Think of a rushing river, powerful, never stopping, even if someone comes to draw water. Even if someone uses that river, it continues to pour forth. But if you only hold a small cup, you will only get a small part of that river. Similarly, if your soul is closed, if your faith is limited, if you only dare to ask for small things, you cannot receive all of the abundance that I have prepared. But if you open your heart, if you dare to believe in things that are greater, if you are willing to let go of fears and walk with complete trust, you will see me act in ways you cannot imagine. Many people think that they have to do something big, something special, to deserve my abundance. They think that they must have a great accomplishment, must achieve something glorious to be able to step into blessings. But I say to you that my abundance is not for those who compete, not for those who try to accumulate by their own strength, but for those who know how to trust, know how to open their hearts to receive. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to race to achieve the blessings, because I don't give blessings by your merit, but by my love. Observe a field of ripe golden rice. The rice stalks are heavy with grains, not because it tries to grow on its own, but because there's a source of life pouring into it. The sun shines. The rain waters it. The soil is fertile. All of them are ready for it to multiply. So, if you are in me, if you let my life pour into you, if you let me take care of you, you will naturally step into a fullness that you don't need to strive for in the way that the world does. But there are some who are so accustomed to being in lack that they don't dare to believe in abundance. They are afraid that if they open their hearts, they will lose. They are afraid that if they dare to believe in something bigger, they will be disappointed. They are so accustomed to a lack of things, to difficulties, that they don't dare to step into the newness. They let the hurts of the past bind them. They let the old failures make them not dare to dream anymore. But I say to you that if you let the past bind you, you will never see what I am doing. Let go of the fears. Let go of the old things. Let me lead you into a new season where you don't live with trepidation, but live in freedom. Don't look at the limits, but look at me. My abundance will not only come when you see everything change on the outside, but it starts from within. When you learn how to think in abundance, when you stop worrying about the small things, when you start to believe that I am the provider without ceasing, when you no longer calculate with fear, but walk with faith, that is when you begin to experience fullness. You can live in the middle of a desert and still be abundant, be able to go through a storm and still be at peace, be able to stand in the middle of difficulties and still be full of strength, because true abundance is not in the circumstances, but it is in where you put your faith. Many people let their circumstances control their emotions. They are happy when everything is good, but they are afraid when there are difficulties. They feel blessed when they have wealth, but they feel abandoned when they face trials. But if you understand that my abundance does not come from the things that you see, but it comes from me, you will never be controlled by circumstances. You will know that even if today you don't see the answer, I am still working. Even if today you don't see the door opened, I'm still preparing. Even if today you don't see the provision, I'm still setting it up so that you can have enough at the right time. Don't let my abundance be limited by your thoughts. Don't think that I can only give to you in the way you understand or in what you expect. Let me do what surpasses what you imagine. Let me expand you so that you not only receive but also give, so that you not only have enough but also have an abundance to help others. Because a life of abundance isn't just a life of keeping it all to yourself, but a life of becoming a blessing. I'm knocking on your door not to take away, but to bestow, not to demand, but to fill, not to limit, but to expand. Are you ready to receive the new thing I'm doing? Are you ready to step into the abundance I've destined for you? If you're ready, open the door. Walk in faith, trust in me, because I never abandoned those who put their trust in me. The knock still echoes, not just once, not just fleetingly, but continuously, persistently, powerfully. But do you hear it? Or are you too busy with your worries, too immersed in your own thoughts, too caught up in worldly things to realize I'm standing right at the threshold of your life? Sometimes you don't receive my abundance, not because I don't give it, but because you've grown accustomed to living within limits. You're used to closing the door, used to fears, used to small things to the point where you don't dare step into something greater. But today I've come to tell you to open up. Open your heart. Open your mind. Open your faith. Open even those dreams you once buried. Because what I want to do in you isn't a small change, but a significant transformation. Do you remember the last time you dared to dream something truly big? Or have you let the reality of this world stifle your dreams? I see many who once had great aspirations, who once believed in miracles, but then because of hurts, because of failures, because of the criticisms of others, they've gradually shrunk themselves. They no longer dare to believe in anything big. They just hope to have enough, just hope to be secure, and no longer dare to hope for a breakthrough. But I didn't create you to live an ordinary life. I didn't place you on this earth just to exist without ever experiencing true abundance. I want you to rise up. I want you to expand. I want you to live with a strong spirit, not limited by the past, not bound by failures, not restrained by the negative words of others. My abundance isn't just about material things, but about the spirit, about strength, about peace. You can have everything in the world and still feel empty, still feel insecure, still feel like it's never enough. But when you have me, you'll no longer be shaken by external things. You'll walk with a confidence that doesn't come from what you have, but from the one who is with you. You'll no longer fear loss because you know that I am the giver. You'll no longer fear the future because you know that I hold it. You'll no longer compare yourself to others because you know that I have a unique plan for you, a special path that only you can walk. Let me bring you into a new vision. Don't look at the past. Don't let old limitations control you. I want to expand you. I want to take you out of small things to step into a larger space. Have you ever seen how vast the sky is? Have you ever looked at the deep oceans without seeing the end? That's just a small part of the greatness I've created. And if I can do those things, do you think what I'm preparing for you could be insignificant? But I can't force you to step in if you're not ready. I can stand before the door and knock, but if you don't open it, I won't barge in. If you're not ready to let go of old thoughts, if you don't dare to step out of your comfort zone, if you still cling to familiar things even though they no longer bring life, you'll miss the great thing I want to give you. I want you to become someone who not only receives, but also pours out. Someone who not only hopes to have enough, but also has an abundance to help others. Someone who not only exists, but also lives with a meaning, a mission, a strength that nothing can shake. Look to me. Let me guide you. Let me do things beyond your expectations. Don't be afraid of changes. Don't hesitate about new things. Don't shrink your vision just because you've never seen it happen before. I am the one who does new things, the one who opens new paths, the one who turns the impossible into the possible. And if you trust me, you'll see that what I'm preparing for you isn't just a little abundance, but a fullness that never runs out. Be ready. Open the door because my abundance is coming near, and when you step in, you'll never have to live in lack again. How many times have you stood before a door, your hand on the doorknob, but you didn't dare to open it? How many times have you felt the urge to step forward, but then you retreated because of fear, because of doubt, because of a feeling of unworthiness? I know you've had moments like that, because I see everything. I see the dreams in your heart, the desires to blaze, but they're extinguished by the words of others, by failures in the past, by the pains you can't forget. But today I've come to tell you, don't let those things stop you anymore. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anything make you think that you can't receive great things from me. Because I'm not just knocking on your door. I'm calling you to step into something greater, a complete transformation, a life no longer limited by what you once knew. Do you know why you often feel lacking, even though you have many things? It's because you haven't truly received abundance from me. The world teaches you to hoard, to hold on, to control everything yourself. But I've come to teach you a different way, the way of surrender, of opening your heart, of a faith that doesn't rely on what the eye sees, but relies on me. When you trust me, you'll no longer live in worry. When you learn to let go of the burdens you've been carrying for so long, you'll see that I prepared everything for you. But you need to be ready to receive. Do you dare to believe that your life can change right now? Or are you still bound by thoughts that my life can only be this way? I can't rise above it. I can only accept this fate. If that's what you still believe, then you're limiting yourself. I don't limit you. I don't set up barriers for you. But you've built walls in your heart. You've told yourself that you can't, that you're not worthy, that it's too far-fetched. But I want you to know that nothing is too far-fetched for me. Nothing is impossible for the one who created you. And if I prepared a path for you, then even if you feel lost, even if you think that every door is closed, I still have a way for you that you haven't even thought of. But you have to walk. You can't just stand still and wait without taking action. I don't want you to live a passive life, just waiting for a miracle without daring to move forward. Let your faith become action. Let your trust lead you past your limitations. Don't just sit there and expect abundance to come naturally. Open your heart, be ready to receive, and let yourself become someone who can receive without doubt or hesitation. When I knock on your door, I don't just bring material abundance. I bring healing to your soul, restoration for what's been lost, renewal for what's been worn out within you. I bring a new source of strength, a new life, a new hope. Have you ever thought that you'd never be able to overcome the hurts of the past? Have you ever thought that there are things that will forever remain unchanged? But I tell you today that nothing is impossible when you're in me. There's not a wound that I can't heal, not a loss that I can't restore, not a despair that I can't turn into hope. Imagine you're standing before a door, and on the other side is freedom, is abundance, is a life you never dared to dream of. But the door can only open if you reach out and grab the handle. I can't do it for you. I can stand before the door and call, but you have to be the one to act. You have to be the one to step across that threshold. You have to be the one to dare to believe that what I'm preparing for you is good, is great, is beyond what you've ever known. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let the lies of the world make you think you're unworthy. Don't let failures in the past make you think that your future will be the same. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You're not the negative things that others have said about you. You are the one I created. You are the one I love. You are the one called to step into a life filled with blessings. And if you believe that, if you dare to open the door that I'm knocking on, you'll see that my abundance doesn't just come to you temporarily, but it will overflow within you, transform you, make you someone who can pour out that abundance to those around you. Be ready. Open the door. Step into what I've prepared for you, because I haven't come to give you just a little, but I've come to fill, to overflow, to make it so you'll never have to live in lack again. When I talk about abundance, do you understand that it's not just material, not just wealth or what the world considers rich? I'm talking about a fullness from within, a wholeness that doesn't depend on external circumstances, a peace that nothing can take away. You can have all the good things of the world and still feel empty. You can achieve brilliant successes and still feel your heart is barren. That's because you haven't truly stepped into the abundance I've prepared. I don't want you to just have a lot of wealth without peace. I don't want you to have fame, but lose the true meaning of life. I don't want you to keep chasing fleeting things without realizing that the most important thing is the relationship between you and me. True abundance doesn't come from what you hold on to, but from what you become. When you live in my abundance, you're no longer bound by the pressures of the world. You don't need to compare yourself to others. You don't need to worry about whether you have enough. You don't need to be afraid of the unknown because you know that I am your source. I am the one who provides for you not only today, but also tomorrow. Not only in favorable times, but also when you face challenges. But if you only wait without being ready to receive, you will still live in the deficiency. If you hold tight to the old things, you will not be able to welcome the new. if you continue to cling to the limits that you set for yourself. You will never step into the immensity that I want to give. It's time for you to let go of the burdens of the past, to let go of the fears that have weighed heavily on you, to let go of the limiting thoughts that have kept you from going further. Let me lead you into a new life, a new journey, a path that you have never walked on. I have seen you many times want to go out, but hesitating. I have seen you many times wanting to believe, but being pulled back by doubts. But today I tell you that you don't need to be afraid anymore. You don't need to wait any longer. My abundance is right in front of you. Just dare to open your heart, dare to trust, dare to walk. You will see that I have prepared everything for you long ago. And when you step into this abundance, you will not only keep it for yourself. I want you to become a channel, a blessing to those around you. Have you ever wondered why I want to give you abundance? Not so that you can only enjoy it alone, but so that you can become a source of blessing for others. When you are full, you can pour out. When you're healed, you can bring healing to others. When you're lifted up, you can help those who are falling. That is the true meaning of abundance. I don't want you to live a life thinking only of yourself. I don't want you to hoard for yourself and forget about those who need you. When you are generous, when you know how to give, when you live with an open heart, you will see that I never let you be deficient. For when you give, you will receive back. When you sow, you will reap. When you know how to give love, kindness, forgiveness, you will see them come back to you in a more abundant way than ever. Are you ready to step into my abundance? Are you ready to open your heart and let me pour out blessings? Are you ready to live a life no longer limited by fear, by worries, by the things that have held you back for so long? If you are ready, then walk on, trust, open your heart wide because I am here. I am knocking and my abundance is waiting to overflow within you. I know there are times when you feel like you have done everything you can, but you still haven't seen a change. You wonder if I really hear your prayers, if I really see the tears you have shed. But I want you to know that not a word of yours is overlooked, not a moment of your suffering that I am not aware of. Everything I do has its timing, not because I'm delayed, but because I know when is the best time for good things to come to you. I don't just want to give you the things you ask for, but I want to make sure that you can keep those things. I don't want you to have a temporary blessing and then lose it. I want you to step into a lasting abundance, an abundance that no one can take away. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have so much but still feel empty, still feel lost? Because they haven't really understood the nature of abundance. They only look for external things without realizing that the most important thing is their inner being. If you have everything but your soul is not satisfied, you are still a poor person. But if you have me, if you live in my presence, whether you have little or much, you still feel complete. I don't want you to live in fear of the future. I don't want you to worry about whether there will be enough tomorrow. I don't want you to have to wonder if you will be forgotten or not. For I am the one who holds time, and I know what you need even before you ask. But what I desire is that you put your trust in me, not only when everything is favorable, but even when you cannot see the path ahead. I want you to know that no matter what happens, you can still stand firm because you know that I never abandon you. Have you ever seen a stream overflowing? It does not keep the water to itself, but lets the water flow through, watering the fields and bringing life to arid places. That is also what I want to do through you. I don't want you to be just a container, but I want you to become a stream. I want you to become the one who brings abundance to the world around you. When you give, you don't lose, but that's when you receive more. When you help others, when you use what I give you to benefit others, you will see that you are also filled. My abundance is not limited to material things, but also abundance in love, abundance in joy, abundance in peace, abundance in wisdom. I not only want to give you a life without deficiency, but also want to give you a soul that no longer worries. You were not created to live under pressure, in fear, in lack. You were created to live in the freedom, in the joy, in the wholeness that I have prepared for you. But if you keep looking at what you lack, you will never see what I am giving. If you only focus on the difficulties, you will not realize the doors that I am opening. I don't want you to live in doubt. I want you to walk in faith. Open your eyes to see that I have prepared everything for you. Open your heart to welcome the new. Let me act in your life, and you will see my abundance overflowing through every day, every moment. For I am the one who is always faithful, and my abundance never runs out. I want you to understand that the abundance that I bring is not limited by your circumstances. It does not depend on the amount of money you have, the position you hold, or the recognition from others. My abundance comes from a source that never runs out, an eternal flow that is not blocked by the barriers that the world erects. You may be in a small room, but if you have me, you are standing in the middle of a kingdom. You may not have the things that people consider important, but if you have my peace, you have a treasure that nothing can buy. The world teaches you that to have more, you have to hold on tighter, have to compete, have to step on others to climb up. But I tell you that true abundance does not come from keeping it to yourself, but from knowing how to give it away. An open heart will always be filled. A hand ready to help will never be empty. When you understand this principle, you will step into a flow that never stops. What you need will always come to you at the right time. What you give will come back to you in ways you cannot imagine. There are those who spend their whole lives chasing after money, power, fame. But when they achieve it, they still feel empty. They keep thinking that if they just have a little more, they will be happy. But they don't know that the problem is not in how much they have, but in where they have put their heart. If you put your heart in things that pass away, you will always feel insecure. But if you put your heart in me, you will always have enough. I did not create you to live in limitation. I don't want you to be stuck in old thoughts, in fears that have clung to you for a long time. I want you to step out of your comfort zone, dare to believe in bigger things, dare to dream of things that you thought were impossible before. My abundance is not only what you receive, but also what you can do. When you live with an open heart, when you believe that I can use you to do great things, you will see that the limits before were just illusions. Don't let your past define you. Don't let past mistakes make you think that you are not worthy to receive good things. I don't see you the way the world sees you. I don't judge you through your stumbles, but through the potential I have placed in you. If you keep looking at what has happened, you will miss what I'm doing right now. If you continue to let old hurts control your thoughts, you will not be able to step into the new things that I have prepared. Stop for a moment and look at yourself. Ask yourself what kind of attitude you are living with. Are you opening your heart to receive my abundance, or are you limiting yourself with fearful thoughts? Do you dare to believe that I could do great things through you, or do you still doubt your own worth? I want you to know that every day you are alive is a day you can change. Nothing is too late. Nothing is impossible if you dare to walk in faith. If you dare to believe in bigger things, you will see that the door you thought was closed will open. The things you never thought of will come to you, and you will not only be a receiver, but also a giver of abundance to others, because that is my intention for you, so that you do not only live a full life, but also a light shining for those around you. My abundance is not only in the tangible things that your eyes can see, but also in the invisible things that are powerful beyond all worldly wealth. Have you ever felt a deep peace in the midst of storm? That is the abundance that I give you. Have you ever experienced a joy that does not depend on circumstances? A joy that comes from your own being, from your connection with me? That is also the abundance that the world cannot give you and also cannot take away from you. True abundance is not limited to the things you can touch or count. It is a flow that pours out from within you, a stream that never runs dry, a source of life that pours out nonstop. But to step into that flow, you must dare to let go of what you are holding on to too tightly. Were you afraid of losing? Are you worried that if you give, you'll be in need? But I tell you that only when you know how to let go can you receive more. If a hand is clenched, it cannot receive anything new. But when you open your heart, when you live with the spirit of giving, you will see that what you thought was lost is actually transforming into something greater. Learn to trust in my provision. Learn to live with the belief that you always have enough, because when you believe in abundance, you will step into a new reality where there is no lack, where you always have everything you need right when you need it. Have you ever felt like you were stuck in a loop of anxiety? Waking up every day with a list of things to worry about, to think about. to try to achieve. If you let your mind get caught up in that, you will never see enough. The world will always make you believe that you don't have enough, that you have to try harder, run faster, work harder to achieve satisfaction. But I want you to step out of that vicious cycle. I want you to know that you don't need to live in constant stress and pressure. Look at what you have. Be grateful even for the smallest things, because gratitude is the key that opens the door of abundance. When you appreciate what you have, you will see that you're much richer than you think. When you look at everything with a grateful heart, you will realize that you lack nothing. But if you keep letting your mind be controlled by comparison, by endless desire, you will always feel empty. True abundance is not about having more, but about living with the mindset of someone who has enough. When you walk with the certainty that you are not lacking anything, you will no longer have to chase after fleeting things. You will no longer have to strain to prove yourself to the world, because you know that your value does not lie in the things you have, but in who you are. I have placed in you a great treasure, a limitless potential, a shining light. If you stop seeking validation from the outside and start looking inside, you will see that all that you need has been in you from the start. Stop for a moment and ask yourself if you are living in abundance or in lack. Are you looking at life with the eye of faith or with the eye of fear? Do you believe that I can provide for you? Do you believe that I can open the doors that you never thought of? If you believe, you will see. If you walk in faith, you will experience a life far beyond what you can imagine. And once you have stepped into the flow of abundance, you will not only live for yourself, but you will become a blessing to others. For true abundance does not stop at you, but it flows through you to those around you. That is my will for you, to become a channel of life, so that you not only receive but also give out, so that you are not only satisfied but also able to satisfy others. Open yourself up, let go of your worries. Walk with the confidence that I'm working in your life, that I'm clearing the path for you, that I'm leading you into a reality of abundance that nothing can stop. Because when you truly believe, you'll see that my abundance is knocking at your door. I want you to understand that the abundance I give isn't just about having enough stuff. It's about an open mind, a strong spirit, and a heart full of joy. When you understand what abundance really is, you won't be tied down by worries about tomorrow. You'll know that I'm your provider. I'm the source of all good things. And nothing happens outside of my plan. If you live with a mindset ready to receive, you'll see that even in challenges, in moments when it feels like something's being taken away, I'm preparing you for something even better. A lot of people look for abundance by accumulating things, but they don't realize that accumulating never brings real satisfaction. The more they have, the more they fear losing it. The more they try to control things, the more insecure they feel. But I'm teaching you a different way, the way of surrendering, the way of trusting, the way of freedom from fear about the future. When you believe in my provision, you won't have to live under the pressure of holding on to what you have. Instead, you'll live with the ease of someone who knows that nothing really belongs to them, but everything is a gift. And when you appreciate what you have in the present, you'll see that you're already abundant, even before you get anything new. Abundance doesn't come from having more. It comes from connecting to the source of all life. When you let me be the center of your life, when you let me guide you, you'll see that you always have enough love, enough strength, enough joy, enough peace, and you won't look for completeness in things outside yourself anymore. You won't think that if you had more money, more opportunities, more success, you'd be happy. No, you'll understand that true happiness doesn't come from those things, but from a soul that knows how to rest in me. There are times when you feel like you're going through a dry season, a period when everything seems shut down. You might pray but not see answers. You might wait but not see change. But remember that even in those seasons, I'm still at work. Did you know that trees don't just grow in the spring? Even in the winter, their roots are still growing in the ground. Likewise, there are times when you don't see abundance clearly. But I'm actually building the foundation so you can step into a season of more fruitfulness than ever before. And when you've stepped into true abundance, you won't keep it all to yourself. You won't live just to accumulate for yourself. Instead, you'll become a river flowing out, a source of blessing overflowing to others. When you live in abundance, you don't just receive, you give. You don't just hold on to things, you share them. And in that sharing, you'll realize that you've never lost anything, but have become richer than ever. My abundance isn't just knocking at your door. It's waiting for you to open it. It doesn't come from what you try to grab, but from what you're willing to let go of. It doesn't come from what you can see, but from trusting what I'm doing in the unseen. Open yourself up, receive, and walk with the confidence that I'm leading you into a life without lack, without worry, without fear, a life where you always have enough because you're walking with me. My abundance doesn't come and go like a breeze. It's not like a gift that's only given once, and then you're left scrambling for more. No, my abundance is a never-ending stream, a constant spring that never runs dry. But do you know why some people don't feel this abundance? It's not because it doesn't exist, but because their hearts aren't ready to receive it. They hold on to the small things in their hands and are afraid to open them up to receive the bigger things. They fear that if they let go, they'll lose everything. But the truth is that only when you dare to open your heart can you see that what I want to give you is much greater than what you're trying to hold on to. I want you to understand that abundance isn't just a state of having stuff. It's a way of living, a way of thinking, a mindset that's ready to receive. Someone with an abundant mindset isn't tied down by fear of tomorrow. They know that even if they only have a little today, they'll still have enough tomorrow. They don't compare themselves to others. Don't chase after the standards the world sets. They know that true abundance doesn't come from the numbers in the bank, doesn't come from the possessions they own, but from a free heart, a spirit not weighed down by worry. There are people who own the whole world, but they still feel empty, still live in anxiety, still fear loss. They don't have abundance because their minds are always lacking, always insecure, always needing more without ever feeling satisfied. But there are also people who don't have a lot of possessions, but they live a rich life, a life that doesn't lack anything because they have me. They know that no matter what happens, no matter what tomorrow brings, I'm still with them. I'm still providing for them. I'm still the one holding their future. And that's what true abundance really is. When you walk in my abundance, you're not controlled by outside circumstances anymore. When others panic because of hardship, you'll be steady. When others are swept away by the worries of the world, you'll be at peace. When others look for security in uncertain things, you'll put your trust in me, the one who never changes. And that peace, that steadiness, will be the sign that you're living in true abundance. My abundance doesn't just come to meet your needs. It comes so you can be a source of blessing to those around you. When you receive a lot, don't keep it to yourself. When you step into wealth, don't close your heart. When you have in your hands what you once longed for, don't forget that I give it to you not just for you to enjoy alone, but so you can be a light, someone who brings blessing to those who are lacking. Watch people who have an open heart. They're always ready to help, always ready to give, always living with a generous spirit. And do you notice? They never lack, they never run dry, because they understand the principle of abundance. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you give away, the more you're filled, because they don't live by the mindset of holding back, but by the mindset of flowing out. And you know what? I'm the source of that flow. If you want to step into abundance, you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to break down the limiting thoughts that have held you back for so long. You have to be willing to give up the old habits, the old ways of living, the old ideas that keep you tied down, because my abundance can't exist in a limited mind. It can't overflow in a closed heart. It can't fill a soul that's still doubting and fearing. Let me change the way you look at life. Let me open your eyes so you can see that you're not abandoned. You're not lacking. You're not alone. Let me teach you how to live in abundance, not by seeking more, but by trusting more. Let me lead you into a life where you don't have to chase after anything, because everything you need will come to you, a life where you always have enough, because I'm the one providing for you, a life where you're always at peace. because you know that I'm holding you in my hands. Don't close your heart. Don't let worries and doubts keep you from stepping into the abundance I've prepared for you. Don't let your past define your future. Don't let past failures make you afraid to receive something new. Open the door, be ready, receive, because my abundance is knocking at your door. And when you open your heart, you'll see that I've never let you lack, and I'll always be the one giving you more than you can imagine. I want you to realize that my abundance isn't limited by circumstances or what your eyes can see. When you think about abundance, maybe you only think about tangible things, wealth, job, health, opportunity. But I want you to look further, deeper. True abundance starts on the inside, from the freedom you have when you're no longer tied down by fear, from the joy you feel even when the world around you is in chaos. A lot of people think they'll feel secure when they have enough money, enough success, enough fame. But they don't realize that abundance doesn't come from those things, but from a soul that no longer lacks. There are people who always have a lot, but always feel like they have little. They always worry about tomorrow, always compare themselves to others, always chase after what they think will make them happy, but in the end, they still feel empty. On the other hand, there are people who don't have a lot of possessions, but they still live in peace, still are always happy, still are always full of life. Why? Because they understand the principle of abundance that I give, which is that when you no longer depend on what the world defines as enough, but you live according to my assurance. My abundance doesn't just come in good times. It's also there in the middle of the hardest times. When you face a challenge, do you see that you can still stand firm? When you lose something, do you believe that I can still provide? When you feel lonely, do you realize that I've never left you? These are the things I want you to understand about true abundance. It's not about how much you have in your hand, but about how much faith you have in me. I know that a lot of times you feel tired because you have to face the lack in your life. Maybe you are waiting for something, an opportunity, a breakthrough, a change. Maybe you have been praying for a long time and have not seen an answer. But I want you to remember that my abundance does not come on your time, but according to my perfect plan. Sometimes I hold back something not because I don't want to give it to you, but because I am preparing you so that you can receive it in the fullest way. If I pour out abundance into a heart that is not ready, it will be wasted. But when you learn to trust, learn to walk in faith, learn to see beyond what your eyes can see, that's when you truly step into the abundance I have destined for you. Don't let difficulties make you hesitate. Don't let temporary deficiencies make you lose hope. Don't let the voices of the world make you doubt my goodness. Do you know that my abundance is not like what you have seen in this world? It is not dependent on the economy, is not limited by society, is not controlled by any power. When I want to give you, nothing can stop it. When I open a door, no one can close it. When I declare abundance on your life, no circumstance can change that. But to receive, you have to be willing to believe. Believe that no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, no matter what your present is like, I am still the one who is acting. Believe that no lack is forever. No challenge is insurmountable. No worry is too great for me. Believe that when you give all your burdens to me, you will see lightness. When you put your trust in me, you will see guidance. When you open your heart, you will see abundance pouring out. I want you to stop thinking that you have to do something special to deserve good things. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to try to earn abundance. You just need to receive. Just like a river doesn't have to beg for water to flow in because the water will naturally pour in. You don't have to worry about my provision because I am the source of abundance and I never run out. If you believe that I am the one who always gives, then you don't have to live in a state of fear. You don't have to hold on to everything so tightly for fear of losing it. Because once you have put your trust in me, you will never lack. Look at what you have. Look at your life not only with your eyes, but with your soul. You will see that there are things you have taken for granted, but in fact they are signs of the abundance that I have given you. You are breathing. You have health. You have people who love you. You have a future ahead of you. And above all, you have me. When you realize that abundance is not only in what you want to have more of, but also in what you already have that you have not recognized, your heart will change. You will no longer live in a state of lack, but you will live in gratitude, and that gratitude will open the door for you to receive even more. I want you to understand that I not only give you abundance in a moment, but I want you to walk in abundance every day. Abundance is not a destination, but a journey. When you trust me, when you live according to my principles, when you know that I am your provider, then you will no longer have to worry about tomorrow, because you know that your tomorrow is in my hands. Right now, I want you to change the way you look at life. Don't live as if you don't have enough. Don't live as if you have to fight to get what you want. Don't let the fear of lack control you. Walk with the confidence that I have prepared all good things for you. Live with an open mindset, ready to receive, ready to give, ready to trust. Because once you do that, you will see that my abundance is not just a promise, but a reality that you can experience every day. My abundance is not only material, not only things that can be seen and touched. It is fulfillment. It is completeness without lack. It is fullness in every aspect of your life. You may be looking for abundance and wealth, but I tell you that true abundance starts from the heart, a heart that is open, ready to receive, ready to trust, ready for me to do great work in your life. If your heart is still closed, if you're still holding on to worries and fears, if you still have not dared to let go of the old things, how can you receive the abundance that I have prepared? Therefore, relax. Pour out the burdens you are carrying. Let me come in. Let my abundance flood you, because when your heart is full of peace, trust, you will see your life change. You will no longer be haunted by lack, because you know that I am the source that never runs dry. You will no longer fear about tomorrow, because you know that I have been there before you. You will no longer compare yourself with others, because you understand that each person has their own portion, and your portion is abundant in a way that only I can give. My abundance does not come in the way that the world thinks. It does not come from fighting, does not come from human-style clever calculations. It comes from surrender, from walking in faith. When you give me your whole heart, I will open doors that you have never thought of. I will lead you to new lands, wider horizons. Maybe right now you don't see it clearly, maybe you still doubt it. But I tell you, don't look at the difficulties, look at me. Because I'm the one who has called you. I'm the one who has chosen you. I'm the one who knows what you need more than you do. And what I want to give you is not a small part, is not a temporary life, but a life that is full, an abundance that is far beyond all your expectations. Let me teach you how to live in that abundance. Don't hold on to what you have for fear of loss, but practice giving, practice opening your heart, because abundance is not only receiving, but also giving. When you live with an open heart, you will see that you never lack. When you know how to share, you will receive many times over, because that is the principle of my kingdom. A kingdom not based on depletion, but on endless fullness. Learn to live without clinging to wealth, without letting your heart be controlled by fleeting things. But let me be the only source of abundance in your life. Then you will see that even in adversity, you do not lack. Even in adversity, you still have enough. Because true abundance does not come from external circumstances, but from me, the one who does not change. Are you ready to step into my abundance? Are you ready to give up the mindset of lack to embrace the mindset of fullness? Are you ready for me to change the way you look at yourself, at life, at everything around you? If you are ready, open your heart, because I'm standing outside the door and knocking. Whoever hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. I will give you not only what you want, but also more than that. Better things, things beyond your understanding. My abundance is knocking at your door. Will you receive, or will you miss it? My abundance is not only for a few people, not only for those whom the world deems worthy, but for all who are willing to receive. But you must understand that true abundance is not measured by what the eyes see, is not defined by gold and silver or external successes. True abundance is a state of spirituality, is a life filled with light, with completeness that does not come from the world but from me. When you live in my abundance, you will no longer look at your limitations, but will see the infinite possibilities that I have placed in you. You will no longer worry about the future because you know I am holding everything. You will no longer compare yourself with others because you realize that the part one have for you is unique. No one can take it away, but abundance cannot flood a soul that is still bound by fear and doubt. Are you afraid of loss? Are you doubting that I really want to give you a full life? If you let negative thoughts dominate your heart, you will inadvertently close the door to the abundance that I want to give. Therefore, you need to change the way you look at yourself. You are not forgotten. You are not lacking. You're not the one who has to struggle to survive. You are the one who is loved, provided for, placed in a great plan that I have destined. Step out of the limited mindset. Stop thinking that you have to strive on your own to get what you want. Instead, have a strong faith, a solid trust that I will give you what you need at the right time. My abundance is not only expressed through material blessings, but also through unshakable peace. You may be looking for a life without difficulties, but I tell you that abundance is not the absence of challenges, but the strength to overcome all challenges. When you have me, you will not fall before adversity. You will not be swept away by the worries of this world. You will stand firm even if everything around you changes. Because this world is temporary, but what comes from me is eternal. Do you dare to believe that abundance is knocking at your door? Do you dare to open your heart to receive it? Or are you still holding on to what you have for fear that you will lose it? Remember that a closed hand cannot receive, but an open hand will receive more. Learn to let go of worries, doubts. Let me do my work in your life. Because once you have entered the flow of true abundance, you will never want to return to the old way of life. You will realize that you're not only given, but can also become a source of blessing to others. Because when you are full, you will pour out. When you are abundant, you will not be able to help but share, and that is what I want in you, a life not only to be received, but also to know how to give, because true abundance never runs out, but the more it is given, the more it is filled. Look around you. There are people living in lack, not only material lack, but also spiritual lack. There are barren hearts, there are dry souls. There are people lost in the darkness of despair. I want you to be the one who brings abundance to them. Don't keep the light only for yourself, but shine it on others. Don't just keep love in your heart, but spread it. Don't just receive blessings, but use them to bring blessings to those around you. When you do that, you will experience abundance in a way you never thought of. You will see that you never lack. You will see that your life no longer has gaps that need to be filled, because you yourself have become a part of the unceasing flow of blessings. So, don't hesitate anymore. Don't delay anymore. My abundance is knocking at your door. It is waiting for you to open your heart to come in. But you have to make a choice. Will you receive or not? Are you ready to step into a life that is no longer limited by worries, no longer bound by poor thoughts? Do you dare to believe that I have prepared the best things for you? If you believe, if you are ready, then open your heart. Because once you open up, you will not only receive, but also enter a journey of overflowing abundance, a journey where every day you see my goodness pursuing you. And you will never have to fear about lack again because you have stepped into my never-ending abundance. Amen.